I heard a talk given by, I think it was the creative director of McDonald's. But if you watch McDonald's commercials, there's no story to a McDonald's commercial. It's just these flashing vignettes of a very specific type of happy person doing very specific acts, all with the same imagery and logos as a ubiquitous truth. And he was talking about exactly that. He's like, dude, my commercials aren't going to win any awards, but they're going to sell way more hamburgers, because it's just indoctrinating you into knowing like, oh, happy people eat McDonald's hamburgers. Happy people eat McDonald's hamburgers.
Once we take out or exclude all of those very friendly meta audiences, highly likely to convert audiences, which is your level 2s through level 5 traffic, you're going to see your level 1 cold traffic audiences, your prospecting audiences and campaigns decline in performance. Hello and welcome to the Perpetual Traffic podcast. This is your host, Ralph Burns, and this is where we share cutting-edge strategies on acquiring leads and sales to acquire more customers for your business so you can achieve your vision. And Kasim, I'm going to have to ask you today for a favor. That is that, can you carry today's show? Because I am 3 days post my first COVID diagnosis in 2 years. And thanks to our super spreader on staff, Mike Lambert, me as well as practically our entire leadership team at Tier 11 have COVID now. So I don't know how today's episode might go. So if I start to talk deliriously about midway through, just give me a virtual slap right across the head, wake me up. I don't know, tell me to go take some Sudafed. But yeah, I'm asking for your help today. So hopefully we'll be able to bring some value today, even in my post-COVID fog.
The problem, Ralph, is there's two types of friends. There's the friend that you go to the pub, you have too much to drink, and that friend doesn't let you drunk dial your ex. I'm the friend sitting next to you taking notes on a napkin telling you what to say next. I'm not a good person. So
you're the worst wingman in history, actually. You really are. You're not looking out for my best interest, but
but it's a great story. I'm the friend that you have the best stories with.
That's right. And as long as it doesn't just completely break the friendship. I mean, I think we might be talking about this episode years from now, really.
Yeah.
Saying, remember that episode when I was delirious on cold medicine?
Podcasts you had to record. The government wasn't just tracking everything.
That's right. Yep, that's it. That's how it worked. So so that's good. I think sometimes nights out like that or episodes like this are the things that make life worth living because you can just rehash it over and over again, not necessarily using the truth. So 2 years from now, we're going to say, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was just uttering racial slurs left and right, on the show. Which
I tell people you do that all the time.
Yeah. So
Ralph's very abusive to me. He's
make it whatever we want. So anyway, today's episode, if we can get through it, we will. We're powering through this today, or I'm powering through it. Kasim's going to help me power through it. A couple of days post-COVID here. Actually, I feel pretty good, believe it or not. And we are going to get to the second part of what we started last week, which is the levels of traffic, which is one of the things that I think so many people just don't do. And it's the biggest problem that I see still doing some of these discovery calls, obviously through our sales team. And I see what businesses are having issues with. And when they come to us, a lot of times they're just looking for media buying. They're looking for a better way in which to run their paid traffic, whether it be Facebook and Meta or any of the other socials or Google as well. And we do a lot more than just that. But I mean, that's one of the big things that we help diagnose initially. And we find that this problem, which we started in part 1, is the number one thing I see almost on every single customer account. And we've left some links in the show notes in part 1 that will instruct you back to the original episode where we talked about this, which was way back in episode 145, where we first discovered that you needed to do this. We lost some visibility 2 years ago or so with the meta updates with iOS 14 and now all the other ones that are coming on down the line with privacy. You need to put third-party tracking in place. You need to put Conversions API in place. You need to make sure that your pixel is actually tracking in order for any of this stuff to work. So that's table stakes. And we'll leave links in the show notes if you don't know how to do that as well, because that's vitally important. But like I said, this is one of the biggest things that we see in ad accounts right now, especially in meta ad accounts that people are just not doing. And we're going to give you some insights into that past level 1 traffic, which we talked about in part 1, from level 2 all the way to level 5 in today's show. So before we get into that, you have a nugget for us for this week.
I've got a
Cosmo.
juicy nugget. Yeah.
Juicy nugget.
You're effectively guaranteed on a long enough timeline to have your Google Ads account suspended. Sometimes you know exactly why this happened, and just peel back whatever rule you broke and you should be just fine. But if you're having a difficult time getting your Google Ad account back online, what a lot of people don't realize, and this has happened more often than not, and I really mean that, 51% of the time, the majority of the time, it's not in your account, it's on site. And I'll give you the quick story of the hardest lesson we ever had to learn. We had a client who sold industrialized equipment meant for farming that was also being used for the cultivation of marijuana plants. Now, you couldn't say marijuana anywhere on the site. You couldn't say hemp. You couldn't even get cute with your nomenclature. You couldn't have a picture of a marijuana leaf. We ended up getting shut down anyway. Couldn't figure out who, what, when, where, how, or why. And finally, and this was John Moran, as always, coming in and being the savior. John finds, not even in the website content, Ralph, on one of the reviews that was posted to Google but was being imported into the site from a WordPress widget that imports reviews, somebody had said a disallowed word. And that word was what was getting our entire Google ad. I mean, this is an account spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Wow. That one word, and here's the crazy part, is it wasn't in the website sitemap because it was being delivered by a widget that was just pulling in other things, but because it was ultimately resolving on the site, that word was, it took that one review down, bam, everything's fine.
No
so
kidding.
If you were disapproved for whatever reason, go check out the website content and bet money you've got something floating around. And that's the other thing too, is Google is good and bad at understanding context. So if you've got a weed whacker on a home repair website, you're fine. But if you put weed whacker on the website selling products that may or may not be used for marijuana cultivation, Google looks at the word weed a whole lot differently. So the on-site stuff is something people miss, and people pay. Actually, just the reason I'm bringing this nugget up is because my buddy reached out to me this morning, and he's like, "Dude, I'll pay you $5,000 to fix this problem for me." And
really?
People pay thousands of dollars to have accounts brought back online, cleansed, cleaned up, etc. So that's not the only thing that it can be. Yeah. And I've got a feeling, because the guy that reached out to me is super sophisticated, I'm pretty sure he's already jumped through those hoops. But generally, with most people, that's what I point at.
Unbelievable. So this happened just recently, like literally?
No, the suspension I'm telling you about was probably 2 years ago. It was okay. Before Smart Shopping had been sunset, because they were my number one Smart Shopping case study for a long time. Dude, those are the guys that were getting a 14,000% ROAS. We might have done a show on them at PT.
I think we probably did. That might have been your first
show. They were
show.
Crushing it, and then Google came and killed Smart Shopping, the bastards.
That's right, because you were known as the Smart Shopping guy.
Yeah, before I was the PMAX guy, I was a Smart Shopping guy. Yeah. And dude, I loved Smart Shopping was amazing. Smart Shopping was unbelievable. But it was just like PMAX. Smart Shopping was amazing while it was undiscovered by everybody else. It was just blue ocean. So I was just getting really solid algorithmic traffic way cheaper than everybody else was getting it. And as soon as the world rushed into Smart Shopping, it stopped working. I always feel like such a charlatan too, because, I spend 6 to 12 months pounding the pavement, speaking on stage, making videos, doing podcasts, telling everybody, use this tool, use this tool, use this tool, use this tool. When they finally start to use this tool 12 months later, it's not as good, because so much of what I'm benefiting from is first mover advantage, but I don't even realize that. Like, how would you know? How do you know, this is functioning because there aren't as many people into it? Right. And then when the world rushes into it, now we're not using PMAX at all. We've completely abandoned Performance Max and are trying to talk people out of it. But we're supposed to be the PMAX agency. Right. So it's just a weird web of lies that I weave.
Well, yeah, I suppose you strike while the iron's hot, but this is common with marketers, though, isn't it? Really, it's like you find something that works. Everybody at first, there's a trickle, and then you become. If you're the person, like for example, like with Facebook ads first started, like we were one of the first, we started talking about it, and then everybody on the planet started using it, and then every agency on the planet sort of started using it and said they were a Facebook ad agency. So it's the same sort of thing. You look at any new thing, it's the same kind of trend. And I think Dice actually said, I think we quote Dice on every freaking Perpetual Traffic episode.
If we don't, we should.
We should.
That should be our nugget. It's just a Ryan Dice.
Gosh darn it, is marketers ruin everything.
Yeah.
And he said that many, many, many times. And here's yet another example. Performance Max, Smart Shopping, you name it. So, but that is an interesting thing. Like, how do you go about finding that? I guess that's sort of the next step of this nugget. Do you just do a sitemap search? Like, how did you find that particular comment?
So the sitemap search is the exact right answer. Here's what's funny though, is in the example I gave you, that didn't work. We did a full-on sitemap search. We looked
because
at
it was
the
embedded,
code base basically.
That's right, because it's embedded in the plugin. Gotcha.
But then it was, I don't know how John ended up finding that review, dude, to be honest with you. I have no idea. That guy's he's not human.
He's not.
No.
I think he's from another world.
Yeah, I think he's bionically constructed. Like he's not a real person.
I don't think he is, actually. I think if you
he's like made from the parts of dead marketers.
Yeah, I think it'd be a cyborg if you like you.
That's what it is.
Like a Terminator for media buying. I think that would be him. Yeah, like steel and electronics and everything underneath. I don't know. Punch him in the mouth sometime, or like eye. Like get that thing. See if like there's a red thing under his. You know how like in the Terminator.
Yeah, like the blinky eye.
Yeah, he's got the blinky eye thing. I'll bet you that's there.
It's there.
I bet you it's there. All right. Well, that's a killer tip there for this week's show, and we do nuggets on these episodes. Like we actually. Last week's episode, I will say this. Shout out to our producer, Kevin Cook. He pulled out nuggets from episodes way in the 100s, which means you as a listener, like every once in a while we drop one of these shows into the feed here just because we love the stuff that we used to do. And we're like, man, everyone's so focused on the new things, but so much of everything that's worked in the past now works again. It might have actually come around a couple of times, like bell-bottom jeans. I don't know. Are they in? Are they out now? I'm not really sure. I think it's like straight leg stuff. But bell-bottoms will come back eventually, meaning the stuff that we did 5-6 years ago, the nuggets that we probably talked about 5-6 years ago, will eventually come back in fashion. And that's the reason why we do these nuggets. So your nugget here might be one that we do 2-3 years from now. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? So make sure that you do check out all of our episodes over at perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube. We'll have today's show on there. We're going to be actually doing a screen share here right after this quick break to get into the levels of traffic and what you should be doing to separate them out. You're probably not doing it right now, right after this quick break. You, the Perpetual Traffic listener, we are going to create a cheat sheet around all these traffic audiences, but also the resources and the templates that are used in today's show. And you can get that over at tier11.com/levels. That is tier11.com/levels. Download that sucker. Start using it. All right, we are back here. We're going to be talking about specific messaging based upon levels of awareness through what we refer to as level 1 through level 5 traffic, meaning cold traffic doesn't know who you are, all the way to level 5 traffic. Level 5 traffic is what we refer to as people who have actually bought from you. So they've been on your site. They are very aware of, obviously, your product. They've purchased your product. What do you actually do there? And each individual level, as someone sort of navigates through your website, you can show them different types of ads in order to get them to the next level. Ultimately, you want to get them to the point where you take them from cold traffic, don't know who you are, ultimately to purchase. So level 1 all the way to level 5. But in most cases, and we say probably less than 1% out of 100 clicks that you actually get through your ads, you're going to convert people in that first click. It depends on what your business is. It depends on what type of offer that you have. Obviously, lower priced offers will convert at a higher rate. In most cases, higher consideration offers, you need a whole lot more touches. Google says you need 500 touches, Kasim, before you actually do make a purchase or make a consideration buy decision. So a lot of this is there's no one specific way in which to do it. But what we do know is that when you have the same messaging for everyone who's hit every part of your website, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. And a lot of the algorithms now with Performance Max, obviously, Custom Troop is not really as much of a favor to that these days. Advantage Plus Shopping, a lot of this is being automated, but you still need the assets with the different types of messaging to match where someone is in that customer acquisition path. Meaning, once they click on your website, there's probably 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 steps that they need to go through in order to actually complete a purchase. So what we're talking about here is using those signals, capturing those audiences, and then presenting them specific types of messaging, specific types of creative or templates that we use oftentimes to sort of navigate them and push them along to ultimately make a buying decision. Does that make sense, Kasim?
That makes sense. Yeah, I think the thing that's funny about it is Facebook in so many ways was built specifically for level 1 traffic,
Right.
which is what we spent all last episode talking about. And nobody uses Facebook for level 1 traffic anymore. They all go straight to levels 3, 4, and 5.
A lot of people do. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the hardest part is level 1 and level 2.
Right.
Because that's where you if you're doing it right, like if we look at an ad account, that we manage that's doing it right and really getting lots of conversions, hitting their KPIs, chances are they're probably spending 70 to 80, 85% of their traffic money at level 1 or level 2. So we'll get into what level 2 is here in just a second, but that's the area where it's the hardest. It's the most challenging because those are cold traffic audiences, provided that you put in your exclusions, provided that you exclude everyone who's visited your website, exclude everyone who has been a fan of your page or liked any of your posts or been a part of any of your custom audiences, your lead gen, your purchases, your webinars, wherever. Like anyone who's familiar with your site should be excluded, ideally in your level 1 traffic audiences, which was what we talked about in last week's episode. Obviously, we'll leave links in the show notes, but if you haven't listened to that show and you're listening to today's show, definitely go back and listen to that first so you get sort of a frame for what we're talking about here. But yes, a lot of people, a lot of ad accounts that I see, maybe they're spending $10,000, $20,000 a month at the most. What they're mostly doing is they're just taking the traffic that they're getting either from their social channels or maybe their SEO or maybe some of their Google ads, and they're just retargeting people that are at bottom of funnel, which are people who have added to cart, maybe have purchased before, maybe have even been on site multiple times, and they're just showing them product ads. Which you can get a certain level of scale using that. But what we've found, if you're able to separate out your levels of traffic, and this is not an exact science, like I said, sometimes we combine these levels together based upon how large of an audience they are, but the messaging is somewhat different. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today.
I'm excited.
That's good.
Yeah. Just a note for our listener. If you head over to perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube, Ralph's got some really killer slides up that walk through each of these 5 levels visually with bullet pointed details. So this is one of those that's worth participating in the visual presentation for, if you have that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. We made that easy for you. perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube. So definitely head over there. So today we're going to be talking about level 2, level 3, 4, 5. So level 2, what is a level 2 audience? A level 2 audience is somebody who has, let's say you've run a video ad and go back and listen to part 1. you've run a video ad, any of the number of video ad formulas that we use teach and pitch videos, we use Trojan horse tutorial videos, pure education videos, a lot of different types. There's a bunch of different types that are here. But the point is when anyone watches a video, they're now captured in a custom audience. They're captured in an engagement audience, which is on site. You don't need a Facebook pixel in order to do this. You can just capture this audience. It could be a 3-second, it could be a through play audience, which I believe is 15 seconds, 25% of the video, 50%, 75%, 100% of the video. The point is you can capture that audience on the platform itself and then retarget those audiences with these assets that we're going to be talking about here. Now, there's those people, all right, that have watched a percentage of the video, but let's say you're sending all your traffic to your homepage. We see this a lot in e-commerce, or to a collection page. We see this a lot in e-commerce. Or let's say you're sending a digital product and you're sending traffic to a webinar registration page or to a lead magnet page. As soon as anyone hits any of those pages or engages with a video in the newsfeed, we refer to that as level 2. Now, it's all sort of bunched together because how we view it, it's level 2 in the fact that they're lightly aware of who you are. They may not know everything about you. Depending on how much percentage of the video that they watch, they might know more about your product than less. We used to have some customers that we would produce 2-minute videos, and what we knew at the minute mark, all of a sudden they would transition from education in the pure education video to the pitch talking about the product. So if somebody watched 75% of the video, they were now product aware. But if they only looked at 50% or less, they were only sort of problem aware, or maybe solution aware at that point. They weren't aware of the actual product yet, but they might have been slightly exposed to it based upon the page name, maybe some of the ad copy that's in the video ad itself, all of those sorts of things. So there's really ways to to slice this even further and get really, really granular. But for all intents and purposes, a level 2 audience is somebody who is lightly engaged with your product and has not taken that next step, which is self-selecting for a specific product, maybe even add it to cart, or last but not least, purchase. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's a super nugget in there that I love, which is being cognizant of when the narrative shifts in your videos specifically, because you get watch rates, not just in Facebook, you get watch rates almost in any ad network that allows you to push videos as ads. Will tell you what percentage of the video is being watched. And what Ralph just said, to repeat, and I'll simplify, Ralph, and you tell me how right I have this. If you know that your offer comes in, if it's a 60-second video and your offer comes in at 30 seconds, and people don't make it to the 50% mark, you have yet to present them with the offer. And the reason this is so critical to think about is because I can't tell you how many times people will run a campaign like that and be like, oh, the offer's not good, change the offer. Well, wait. They never saw the offer. They didn't make it to the point in the video where the offer would have been presented, or not enough of them did. And so being intentional about, when we transition from features to offer or story to explanation, or, this is when the sales pitch is, and then just monitoring that and benchmarking it against the analytics that you're using to make your decisions. I think that's such a critical point.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's some science behind this, and I think you have to be very, very intentional about it. And I think there's always going to be bleed from one audience to the next. But yes, by and large, if people are watching 50% of your video, but you don't get to the offer until the last half of the video, and you think that you have an offer problem, yeah, that probably means, well, it's the first half of your video that's not engaging enough, because they're not even getting to the offer itself. It's your front end messaging that's not engaging. It's not an offer problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really fine line. So you can dissect this almost any way you can, in a lot of ways. And the better you get at this, I think the more refined of an approach. And when you're spending millions on ads. Like, these are the tiny little things that all of a sudden start to make incremental improvements. When you're first starting out, probably not as important. If you're running $10 a day or $100 a day or whatever it happens to be. But as soon as you start getting some scale, like, these are the things to watch out for. Like, look at your best
These are almost the
videos.
only things you can optimize.
Correct.
When you're scaling at that level, we've already talked about the fact that you're relying on the AI for most of the optimization.
Mm-hmm.
Your levers are limited, so knowing what the levers are, critically important.
Yeah, absolutely. So just being mindful of that, I think, is the first step. So, reintroducing this concept of level 1 through level 5, like, this hasn't gone away. iOS 14 and I keep saying iOS 17, but basically anything after iOS 14 is going to try to reduce the visibility of what actually happens on site. But if you use a lot of the extra tools that we talk about here on the show, you should be able to create audiences based upon where people have sort of stopped and started on your site itself. Obviously, you want to tie this back in with Google Analytics 4, which gives you a lot of data as to how folks are flowing through your site. But just from a purely media buying perspective, you should be able to separate these things out very easily. So level 2 here, I say engage plus page view. So a page view is you're basically firing that event on your site where they view a specific page. Now, that page, like I said, could be homepage, landing page, webinar page, collection page, whatever it happens to be. And as a result of that, we're going to stop short of that. We're not going to talk about the view content. View content is level 3. That's when they actually select a product. We're talking specifically about e-commerce. This might be specific to your product if you're selling a digital product, but you should have a view content event on every one of your product pages, no matter what it is. So let's get into level 2 traffic first, because this is sort of a basic level. And like I said, you can mix and match these audiences a bit. What we found at level 2, once again, these are people that have engaged in a video, have landed on your landing page or your website, or your collection page, your home page. We find that UGC and testimonial videos here work best. So this is sort of an older one that we have from an older client. And this is the formula that we use for these UGC testimonial videos. And they have some sort of moving and branding to start in the first 3 to 6 seconds. And then there's a testimonial overlay about like somebody who's had success with the product. And then after that, there's product video, like hero shots of the actual person itself, the ideal after state, whatever it happens to be. But all with sort of a testimonial overlay, with the testimonial itself doing the heavy lifting as far as the entire production of the video goes. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. We do this with the, love sandwich love video, which is testimonial, branding in the middle, and then some more testimonial at the end. The point is UGC content typically at level 2 is very, very effective. That's not to discount it on level 1, because it does work on level 1 as well. But what we found is that when somebody has started to engage with a product, or maybe is trying to make a decision, should I take the next step, getting other people to tell you how great your product is the best way to get them to that next step and ultimately get them to buy. And the last but not least part of this is the brand call to action. Very strong branding at the end with a call to action to, click to join, in this case, the brand ambassador program. So UGC testimonial videos are one of the video types that we use in level 2 really, really effectively. And once again, the templates that we're talking about here aren't as important as you just thinking specifically about, okay, how can I separate out my levels of traffic, and then take those audiences and then target them with a slightly different message as to where they are in your customer acquisition path. Okay, these are people, once again, they're still undecided. They haven't taken that next step. They haven't, in this case, they haven't clicked to the product page. They're still maybe on the collection page. That's how far they've gotten. So you want to send them back to, in this particular case, to a product page. So another level 2 video formula that we use really extensively, and this is yet another older example here, is an objection killer video, which is basically all we've done here is we've looked at comments, we've looked at comments on ads, we've looked at reviews, everything together. This is part of the research phase when you start to do advertising, especially with us with Tier 11, is that you go through this whole understanding of like, what are the barriers to making that purchase decision? So all we've done is we've created sort of the biggest objections for this particular brand. Hey, can I stop food cravings with it? How does it work when I'm traveling? It sounds like, you've got some sugar in there. Is this the same thing as eating sugary fruits? Is this the type of thing that's going to help boost my metabolism? These are all objections or questions, really, that we created specific videos around that will convince people and persuade people to take that next step to ultimately make the buying decision and determine whether or not this is the product for them. So objection killer videos, these are really super important at level 2. Like I said, you can use these at some of the other levels. We've just found that at level 2, it's a great gateway to helping persuade people get to that next stage and ultimately to buy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Would you mind going back one slide, Ralph? I just want to reference something that you guys always do phenomenally well. So I'm not good at this, but I can spot it. Every single image I'm seeing not only has the client's brand featured, even if it's kind of a subliminal hit. Like on the bookends, you've got the brand on kind of front and center, but then with the videos, it's on this gal's shirt and, just nicely positioned. The other thing that you do really well is, and I think this is really important for level 1 and level 2 traffic. You guys are always maintaining brand continuity with what I've heard referred to as ad scent. I think that was coined by Molly Pittman. So like the overlay on the image is the same level of opacity, and the color, no matter what we're looking at, is more or less the same. And this client's pastels and this client's really bright, and this color, like, it's just every time I see an ad, I can look at it and be like, oh, that's Just Strong. Mm-hmm. And I know that even if you didn't show me a logo, I could see this is who that client is. And at level 1 and level 2, they don't necessarily really know you that well yet. And so I see a lot of brands, and dude, I actually see big brands doing this, just trying a bunch of different things, which is okay. But if you're getting hundreds of thousands or even millions of impressions, which isn't that hard, by the way, it's not that expensive. Like even on a 10 grand a month spend, you can end up with hundreds of thousands of impressions to a small audience.
Yeah.
Maintaining that ad scent, I think, is critically important, because you want to remind them like, hey, this is us, this is us, this is us. And I just think you guys do that really well. And I think this particular case study is a phenomenal example of it.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's it works alongside the brand. The brand understands that we are trying to obviously get the conversion, but at the same time, we're setting the stage for a branding play here. At the very least, you're paying for that impression, whether or not, like, let's not kid ourselves here. I mean, not everyone that sees all of these ads is going to buy, but you've paid to expose them to them. So you might as well get something from it. And I think that's really important to make sure that your brand is there at all times, if at all possible. And I think on not all of these do we do it. I think on that one is a really good example of it. But I think it's something that, as you scale and grow as a business, you've got to keep in mind. You notice that the bigger brands do it. And when we talked about like our awareness, consideration, conversion model, we did, a couple of episodes on that. The big brands always keep the brand front and center. It's always there.
Yeah.
And because you're paying for it, you got to get something from it. How easy is it to measure? It's challenging to measure. Mm-hmm. It really is. That's where you need a brand awareness study or something, done by like the Nielsen company, like those sorts of things.
Well, but when they do those studies, I heard a talk given by, I think it was the creative director of McDonald's, or maybe the creative director of the agency that McDonald's hired, and worked with for 40 years or whatever. But if you watch McDonald's commercials, there's no story to a McDonald's commercial. It's just these flashing vignettes of a very specific type of happy person doing very specific acts, all with the same imagery and logos as a ubiquitous truth. And all it is it's like hypnotism. They're just hypnotizing us into eating. Like they're not even telling a story. They've given up on it. They've traveled like one tier higher in our subconscious. And he was talking about exactly that. He's like, dude, my commercials aren't going to win any awards, but they're going to sell way more hamburgers, because it's just, indoctrinating you into knowing like, oh, happy people eat McDonald's hamburgers. Happy people eat McDonald's hamburgers. And I'm not saying that we, as smaller advertisers, I don't think we can afford the ad spend that would be necessary to hypnotize billions of people. But you shouldn't ignore the principle. I mean, the new example that you just pulled up, this new case study, it's a perfect representation of this. Every single one of these images is on brand.
Yep.
You have that nice sterile white background. The images are popping out with the same kind of drop shadow. Like I could see each of these in different contexts and realize, oh wait, that's Organifi. Mm-hmm. I just think that's really important. I'm sorry for the departure.
No, I think it absolutely is. I mean, I think it's a subtle thing that I think direct response marketers sometimes forget. And I'm here to remind you that you should be doing it. And I think even, big ad agencies like us or the big six or whoever it is, like, sometimes you do forget to do some of the basics, but remember, you're paying for that impression. And I think it's really important to be consistent with the brand but also keep an eye out for conversions. So in this case, and these ones that we're looking at right here, these are also obviously on brand, slightly different type of methodology. These are what we call big benefit dynamic product ads. So for those of you who don't know what dynamic product ads are, this is where you upload your product catalog and then you can create sort of subsets of that catalog based upon the type of product that you carry. So, for example, we have a picture of a beauty client here. They might bunch together in their subcategories inside their catalog of all their eye care products or all their eyeliners, for example. Maybe they have another subcategory of all their lipsticks. So, for example, if I click and I go to a page that has, anything about eyeliners, you can then create an ad that shows that subset of your catalog all around eyeliners, the one that they obviously just looked at, but also maybe the other ones that are in your catalog. It's an amazing thing that I think we had actually just looked at an ad account last week. They're a huge company. They're not even doing this. So catalog in utilizing that, I think going back to the fact that this is a dynamic product ads are only used with product feeds or catalogs. And I think it's vitally important to utilize this tool, not only in your level 2 through 5 traffic, but also using it on your level 1 traffic, because it will dynamically deliver the same product that you either viewed or were interested in your first time visiting the site. And then it'll show you automatically products that are related to that initial product, which gives you, puts you in front of a prospect that's more likely to buy. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So in this one, we're combining sort of ad copy that is big benefits, like mental clarity, taking the guesswork out of your makeup shopping, benefiting, how quick it is to be able to do 30 minutes a day, all the time that you save. You don't need a juicer. So big benefits. So the last one we did were objections. These are now on the opposite side on benefits. And these are just 3 of the 6 or 7 that we will typically use on level 2. And like I said, sometimes if we see a lot of success on level 2, Kasim, we'll be like, we're noticing that a lot of, we can then take that to, like, I know that there is a number of UGC testimonial videos that just were crushing on level 2 traffic with many, many different ad accounts. We're like, all right, let's bring those up to level 1. Let's try and convince folks, don't even go after some of the other things that we talk about in level 1 traffic, some of those other types of templates. Let's use what was working on level 2 and bring it to the cold traffic audience and see if we can get conversions there. So you can share resources. This is really all about you as a media buyer looking at which type of ad is resonating with the individual markets, and then you can mix and match them across levels as well. What we found is these templates typically work best for where people are in that particular moment inside the funnel. So, like I said, level 1 is cold traffic, don't know who you are at all. Level 2 is engaged in a video, click to the page, click to your landing page, home page, have not selected a product yet, but have gone no further than sort of your introductory page. Level 3 is what we refer to as view content. So this is for your e-commerce folks out there. This is somebody who's actually viewed a specific product. And this is where dynamic product ads are even more powerful because, like I said before, you can use dynamic product ads in order to target the product that they viewed as well as similar products in that category, depending on how you set up your entire catalog. So what we've done here, just for the sake of brevity, is we've combined level 3 and level 4 here. Level 4 is all right, I've looked at a product. Okay, I've clicked on that product. And then let's say I don't go any further. Then I back click, I go on to something else. But level 4 is I click on the product, then I add it to cart. I click the add to cart button. And then at level 4, I abandon. I don't go to level 5, which is purchase, right? So what we're doing here is these are smaller and smaller and smaller audiences. So if we really did sort of paint a funnel, at the very top is level 1. It's the biggest part of the funnel. And as we get deeper and deeper, these audiences become smaller and smaller. And what we find is that oftentimes we need to combine like levels 3 and level 4 together and then have Facebook sort of figure out who's where. So we'll put different assets, we'll combine 3 and 4 together. We used to separate them out. Now we don't do it quite as much unless the volume of traffic is enormous. But this way, we're kind of leveraging the algorithm at this level. So we're using our custom audiences for view content, but we're also utilizing our custom audiences for add to cart. So those are both events that fire that you can then upload and actively target inside your Meta ad account. So like I said, we combine those two together here. So we've sort of got a 2 for 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love what you said about using the algorithm because that's the thing to do. I mean, what's interesting is the framework that you're sharing existed before, a lot of these AI-driven campaign types, and you're not changing the principles, you're just changing the way that you've utilized them. And letting Facebook figure out what level somebody's at, that's brilliant. We should be doing that across all machine learning marketing mechanisms because the machine will figure that out. Like that's what it's built to do.
Yeah, 100%. Now, if you're doing an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, you should take all of your assets for all of these levels and throw them into one campaign. Mm-hmm. Really, that's what you should ideally be doing. So we have yet to test that in a non-Advantage Plus campaign, but we have, I shouldn't say that. We have tested it, and the algorithm doesn't sort it out quite as much as you would think. It does need a little bit of a nudge. That's why we have these sort of levels separated out here. So let's get into level 3. Once again, this is somebody who's actually viewed a specific product on a products page. And we've got some examples here of, all right, now I'm deeper. I've actually selected a product. I'm starting to make a buying decision. I just need something to push me over the edge to actually add this product to cart and ultimately to buy the damn thing. So some of the copy that you see in these examples here are thinking about the blank weighted vest. Are you thinking about this type of hair growth formula? Are you thinking about like this type of workout regimen? So thinking about it adds talk to the person, talk to the prospect exactly where they are in your buying cycle. They might have, like I said, landed on the product page, or maybe they've added to cart. So they're obviously thinking about it, right? You're just speaking to that voice that's already going on inside their head, if that makes sense.
That's a little creepy.
It's a little creepy.
It's not creepy. But that's where we get to go with digital marketing.
Just marketing.
Like, that's what's cool. I like that the copy a moment ago was, have you been daydreaming about long, luscious locks? Like that sort of speaks to, the subconscious again. It's kind of like, hey, we're in your head, more or less.
Yeah, you've been daydreaming about it. You've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
You've been daydreaming about us. So these are even a little bit more straight and to the point. These are also dynamic product ads. We put in copy that says, hey, we noticed these items caught your eye. Then there's ones where, whether it's a gift or a well-deserved treat for yourself, inside every product is a gorgeous surprise ring valued between X amount of dollars, waiting to be discovered. So we're just sort of reminding you of this decision that you seemingly have already made because you've gone down the path to selecting the product and or adding to cart. And then the last one is, hey, sometimes we're just all too busy to take the steps that we should take to improve our health. Making enough time, blah, 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 going on, and then call to action at the end. So just a subtle reminder, we kind of know where you're at. We know you stopped and added to cart, but didn't go any further. But we're just going to remind you of all the benefits that we've promised you in our previous messaging so that you ultimately take action and click purchase and ultimately buy.
Come back, do the right thing.
Come back, do the right thing. It's okay. So, like I said, these are, we combined sort of a couple of different levels here. Actually, we've got, that was mostly level 3 ones. And now we'll actually get on to level 4, which, like I said, a lot of times we will combine together. But as you can see on our level 4 ads, these are something that, all right, this could be either, this is obviously somebody who's added to cart. All right, did you forget something? This is a great, I think we probably stole this from Molly like years ago and just still use it to this day. Did you forget to take advantage of our blank offer? You forgot something. And these are combined with dynamic product ads deep in the funnel. Once again, these are level 4. You've added to cart. You're excluding purchasers for however long you want to exclude purchasers. And you're basically just capturing that very, very small audience here. Oftentimes at this deep level, we'll use a reach campaign. We might not use a website conversion campaign. Here, we just want to get in front of these people. We don't necessarily want to find the converters in a very small number of folks in the custom audience. This might be in the hundreds at this point, as opposed to your cold traffic level 1 audiences could be in the hundreds of millions. So you've really sort of narrowed things down. And all you're wanting to do is just get in front of these folks. So you might consider using a reach campaign here, which is something that we do use quite a bit. We'll often use maybe a reach campaign here, but we'll also do a website conversion campaign. And we'll double down just to make sure with lots of different creative that we get in front of these people who are so close to buying. And as soon as they purchase, once again, those purchases are excluded in this audience. So we don't show them these ads once they purchase. You're going to show them a different ad once they actually purchase. And that's where we get into level 5 traffic. So everything in this makes sense so far?
Yeah. The level 5 traffic is where I think this is where the neglect happens. It's like, I already got your money. What are we going to do?
Yeah, there's a type of ad in here which we've started to use that I don't mention, and it's the consumption ad. It's not necessarily buy again, but it's also reinforcing the purchase. So I think that is important, and I do agree with you in the fact that these types of ads are very underutilized in digital marketing today, and I rarely, if ever, see them in an ad account audit. I mean, I can count on one hand.
Yeah, it's funny. We don't generally run a lot of these ads, and typically it's because clients don't want to attribute spend to them.
Right. So I did an analysis on an account that was spending over $1 million a month, and I wanted to break down the percentage of where the spend was being spent. And it was, to your point, level 1, I think, was 0.03% of the total. Level 5 was 0.03% of the total. It was like $3,000, maybe, and $1 million, like that very, very, very small spend. And level 1 traffic was 850 some odd thousand, 800,000 in spend. Like, you're going to have different gradations of it. Level 2 was a couple 100,000. Level 3, 4 was in the 10, 20,000 range. And then level 5 was literally single thousands. So I think that's a fair amount to be able, from a percentage perspective. It should be a very small percentage of your overall spend, but it should have extraordinarily high return on ad spend.
Yeah,
Because
the
it's
impact should be really
the
significant.
impact. And it's just money that you're leaving on the table.
Well, not only that, the other thing that I don't think we give enough credence to is just teaching the algorithm who buys.
Right.
Like, yeah, I love the argument, wow, I was going to get that purchase anyway. All right, maybe that's true. But Google and Facebook both are optimizing against patterns. Why not show them using a small amount of spend? Hey, this is the pattern. These are the people you should be go hunt for those folks over here. And they know what products and services they're marketing. We know for a fact they catalog those against specific benchmarks. And so show them who the buyers are.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I wouldn't leave it necessarily to the algorithm to figure all of that stuff out. If you leave it to the algorithm will just show all your level 1 traffic to all your buyers too. Like
Yeah.
there's risk in the reversal of this, is that if you lump your buyers in with all your other cold traffic audiences, you don't get customer acquisition. You don't get new customer acquisition. You get old customers buying again and you paying for it again over and over again. And we see that a lot. And one of the biggest complaints that we see is like, hey, our agency just can't acquire new customers for us. I say, well, first off, it's the hardest thing to do online. But secondly, we'll really never know exactly what the strategy is unless we go in and we look inside the ad account and dissect exactly what is going on from a strategic standpoint. And if we don't see these levels of traffic being separated out, I'm going to take Advantage Plus out of the equation. I'm talking Meta only. Usually this is the issue. It's the issue.
Interesting.
So,
Dude, that's really what you just said, I think, is a really compelling reason for people to go in and just do a quick audit of their own ad accounts. Like, are you doing these really basic things?
yeah.
And if not, try it. How long do you think it would take, Ralph, to see a turnaround if that was the issue? Is that like a 90-day thing, a couple of weeks longer?
Yeah. So what we usually will tell people is that the first thing you're going to notice is that the performance for all of your ads is going to decrease. Because what's happening is that you're lumping all your level 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 into your campaigns. So all you're doing is just showing, let's say, a lookalike audience of, females between the age of 25 and 55 in the US. All right, that audience is, let's say it's 3 million. Okay, just for argument's sake. It probably is larger than that, maybe 10 million. The point is inside that 10 million person lookalike audience, you have all your buyers, you have all your website visitors, you have all your fans, you have all your opt-ins, you have your people who have watched percentages of your video. And so Facebook is going to, and Meta is going to instantly try to put your ads in front of the people that are most likely to buy. And those are the
Google
people
does the same thing, just selling your traffic back to you.
Selling your traffic back to you.
Yep.
So these big audiences that are cold traffic audiences that are getting 3x ROAS or 2x ROAS, we always say you're going to see a significant decrease with the current creative assets that you have, not, installing any of our new stuff, okay? Because that's going to take, 2, 3, 4 weeks to install that. The point is once we take out or exclude all of those very friendly to Meta audiences, highly likely to convert audiences, which is your level 2s through level 5 traffic, you're going to see your level 1 cold traffic audiences, your prospecting audiences and campaigns decline in performance. And it's usually by half. So that's where the transition is made so that we then separate out the traffic for level 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we see the lift on the other side on those other campaigns that are then created by our team. Then the next step is, okay, one of the issues that you're having is that your top of funnel messaging is stagnant. You're using the same messaging for everyone. And this is usually what we'll see, is that we'll see, you're relying on one type of video, one type of messaging, maybe one or two types of messaging. And we just did, a couple of audits last week where we went through this. And sure enough, they had multiple videos, lots of good videos, but their ad copy, their messaging was basically a mixture between two different messagings. And it was very features based. It wasn't really benefits based. It wasn't having anything to do with the specific avatar's pain points or desires or anything that would have come out through our deep dive research, which we call our creative strategy framework, which is the first thing that we do. It's like research is the first thing in order to really create compelling messaging. Understanding what's going on in your avatar's world that would lead them to make a buying decision for your product is very, very important. What we find is a lot of brands, they just use the same messaging over and over and over again. So to answer your question, a long answer to that question is it takes a month or two to turn this around because you're fundamentally shifting how the algorithm behaves. And then you're changing the messaging at the top of funnel starting in that second month. Is right after you've reconfigured the account and separated out all these levels of traffic. So it's a little bit of a, it's a challenging transitionary period. And I think a lot of businesses, if they are really dedicated to scaling and growing, will go through it. But we tell people like, hey, you might see a decline in performance to start. However, it's temporary because we have a strategy and a long-term view of everything here. This is what you need to do to get to that next level. And that's why most people come to us is that, hey, I've hit a level of scale or a level of growth for my business and I can't get any further. And I'm hiring you guys to do it, which is, all about customer acquisition.
Dude, we should do an episode on your creative strategy framework. I know we've done an episode on research before, but I don't think we ever actually did an end to end, assuming you're willing to give that away, because I'm sure that's pretty secret saucy. But I mean, shit, we could even do a case study, pick a real brand. As a matter of fact, maybe we take a listener. If somebody wants to live with us, have us walk through what would you say, a crash course, 45-minute quick version of the CSF, I think that'd be pretty compelling.
Yeah, I think it would be. I think the key with those is that they take about 2 weeks plus to put together.
Can't get it done in 45 minutes?
It's hard to get done in 45 minutes.
You just press the research button, Ralph. What are you talking about?
We could make it up. No, it would. We could actually show one. We could show one live for sure.
Yeah.
On one of the shows because I think it's the hidden secret to success in digital marketing. And
Dude, I've seen the research y'all do, and it exhausts me to think about. I've seen you pull up those look, here's the 4,000 reviews that they have, and here's the word cluster from, and I'm just like, okay, nope, not going to do that.
Yeah.
Just going to go to Google, which lets me be mindless and tells me what to do.
Yeah. We love to do that too. But at the top of the funnel, you got to figure out the messaging, and the messaging is what it's all about, and the creative that goes along with it. So yeah, we'll absolutely do a show on that. This is the stuff at level 5. Like I said, these people have already bought. All right. So all you're really doing is you're just getting other products in front of them. So if you have complementary products to what you've already sold them, and you already know what you sold them because you can use this with bought X but didn't buy Y. Those are custom audiences you can very easily create for a very, very small budget and just put products in front of them.
Yeah.
So here's an
How
example.
is Facebook's customer match post iOS 14? I imagine it's had an impact, but has it been significant or?
It's still fairly good, I would say. I think the idea that you've lost complete visibility here is a bit of a misnomer. It's not as exact as it was 3 years ago, but still,
it was terrifying 3 years ago. It was like a threat to the Department of Defense how well Facebook could track people, and now it's it sounds like it works, but it's not as good.
Yeah, these are audiences that you have captured inside your CRM. That all you're doing is dynamically updating back into Facebook. So your CRM is capturing, and this is purchase data. Think about the amount of things that they need to put in to your data fields in order to make a purchase. There's a lot of data in there that can be cross-matched fairly easily, especially the phone number, which rarely changes with individuals, to their Facebook user ID or their Meta user ID. So a lot of these very deep in the funnel audiences are not large, but they're far more exact from a match perspective than they might be at level 2, even level 3, and for that matter, level 4. Because at level 5, remember, this is somebody who's purchased. They've given you all their information. So you have more to be able to cross-reference when you do upload that data back into the Ads Manager platform. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like I said, super small audiences, but these are quick wins here. Just basic stuff. I mean, I see this all the time. Like, all right, well, we have a product that, all right, they use up their cartridges in 30 days. Well, what are you guys doing to retarget them? Oh, we put them on email. Well, what's your open rates on email? 17%. Okay, you're leaving money on the table here. So why not put together $100 a month audience that just gets them to reorder at 30 days? It's kind of a no-brainer. Or would you like to try something different? This is one where it's a dynamic product ad. Okay, in this particular case, they bought the turmeric, right? Maybe they're probiotic, but maybe they haven't bought the green juice yet. So you show them different types of ads based upon their previous action and previous behavior. And this is obviously, subcategories inside your product catalog. So pretty basic here. I mean, look at this. Time to reorder. Or is it time to reorder? And then there is this one here, which is one of my favorites, which is cross-sell DPAs. You've bought something, you've bought X, now buy Y. And this is more along the lines of very similar to the ones that we just showed here. These are kind of cross-sell ones. Yeah, we know that you've purchased maybe the pink bath bomb on the one on the side, but now we're going to sell you the pineapple candle. If you buy bath bombs, chances are you're probably going to like a pineapple candle. I would hate both, quite honestly, Kasim, but I'm not the ideal buyer here.
Dude, my kids love bath bombs.
Oh my God.
You know what? They're like $3 or $4 a pop. I had no idea.
It's expensive.
I never go to the mall, but I was at the mall with my wife, and she buys her bath bombs from some uppity, all organic, gluten-free, free trade place. And these bath bombs are like, $4 or $5. And I'm like, I don't love my children enough to spend $4 per bath. Are you freaking kidding me? It's unbelievable. Anyway.
It's true. Wasn't Perry making those in his bath?
Dude, there's nothing Perry hasn't made. Yeah. Name a product and he's imported it.
He makes everything.
Yeah.
I know. He used
probably
to make
illegally.
He used to make candles a lot.
Yeah, candles, and he had that whole thing about selling the wicks to the...
I love that.
Yeah. Dude, he's truly one of the smartest marketers who's ever lived. Like, every time he speaks, you actually forget how smart he is.
Yes.
And because he plays it down, he likes to play as like his dumb redneck avatar. But I mean, beneath that very rough exterior, that guy is a literal genius.
I know. That's so true. Don't be. Yeah, this is Perry
Don't be
Belcher.
fooled.
Perry Belcher, by the way, and we're gonna have some fun stories about him probably after the middle of October, because we're doing that thing in Cancun.
We're gonna spend all of day 3 on what Perry calls a yacht.
A yacht.
That's right. We're going on a yacht.
That's awesome. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have more Perry Belcherisms. I still use like one of his phrases that people credit me with it, but I always say, no, this is a Perry Belcherism, is starve the ponies, feed the stallions, which is how you should optimize your ad account, or feed the stallions, starve the ponies, or whatever it is in life. Like, give more nutrition to the thing that's actually bearing the most fruit for your business. And I don't know, I've never owned any horses in my life. I've never starved a pony, so don't get mad at me for that. But the point is Perry Belcher has lots of Belcherisms, which I think we'll be able to grab a few.
We just start writing them down and put them on t-shirts.
Write them down. I'm going to be like, jotting them in my Perry notes.
Yeah. My favorite thing that he does is anytime he's about to say something brilliant, he always starts with "dude," and then there's this like sizable pause, "dude," and then that's when you know it's coming.
Oh my God, something's good. Something good is about to happen. He says, "Dude." All right, so that is the 5 levels of traffic, and one of the things that you as a marketer probably is not doing on your meta campaigns. And don't leave it always to the algorithm. I would say, as much as you can, see how the algorithm can help you with all this, but I would not rely on it entirely, at least on Meta, right yet, unless you're using exclusively Advantage Plus campaigns, which I know most people are not. Most of you are using sort of a combination of the two. Even Meta recommends like take the best performing business as usual ads and then convert them to Advantage Plus campaigns. That's where you throw in all the assets, right? And then let the algorithm sort of figure it out. But if you had level 1 through level 5 assets, level 1 through level 5 ad copy, level 1 through level 5 videos, level 1 through level 5 images, and you threw it all into Advantage Plus, you're much more on the right path here than just throwing in the same messaging and hitting your audience over the head with the same message over and over and over again. Do not do that. And that's a surefire way of not making this work. The point is you have to diversify your message and meet people where they're at, especially within how they travel within your site. If somebody's hit a particular product page or they've added to cart or they've purchased, don't show them the same ad that you showed them just for their cold traffic ads. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You might get some conversions, yeah, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table here. So hopefully that was the big takeaway from today's show here and the one that we did last week as well. So for you, the Perpetual Traffic listener, we are going to create a cheat sheet around all these traffic audiences, but also the resources and the templates that are used in today's show. And you can get that over at tier11.com/levels. That is tier11.com/levels. Download that sucker. Start using it. Like I said, these are older examples. I purposely have not updated these because they still work to this day. And some of these are from 2018, Kasim, which,
ancient.
Hey, it's ancient, but the ad copy styles still work because human nature hasn't changed. It really hasn't in 5 years. It's the last time I checked. A lot has changed, but human nature is still pretty much the same. So people buy the same way that they did today as they did 2018 when your Facebook ads were working like magic and you didn't have to do much work. So we'll leave that over at tier11.com/levels. Make sure that you do watch this over at perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube. Check out all our videos over there. Subscribe and leave a rating wherever you're listening. And you can follow us on the socials. The Perpetual Traffic socials are quite active, Kasim, as are the Solutions 8 socials, as are the at Kasim Aslam socials everywhere. So follow all those.
We will find you.
We'll find you somewhere. We'll retarget you. And go back and listen to previous episodes. We'll obviously leave links in the show notes to episodes that we've recommended or referenced here in today's show at perpetualtraffic.com. On behalf of my awesome co-host, Kasim Aslam.
Peace.
Thanks for keeping today's episode going post-COVID. Until next show, see ya.